Okay. So, I don't necessarily need to have gaming on there. Uh, let's try this one. Okay. Hello? Hello? Oops. Hello? One, two. Hello? Oops. One, two. Okay. I guess that's the way it works. So I'm in my studio. Yeah, this is giving me a reason to come in and see how this works. New software, and I got a microphone. Ooh, and I'm on. Ooh, this is like old times again. Let me screenshot this. Okay, nice. Okay, I like this one. Hmm. Okay, let me keep this one. Okay, so what happens? Old times again. Let me screenshot this. Wow. Okay.
I like it.
Nice.
Why is it so low?
Okay.
Hello?
I like this one.
Oh, it's got to turn up the volume a little
Hmm.
bit.
Okay, let me keep this
I am a bit
one.
soft spoken,
Okay, so
though,
what happens?
to be
Old
fair.
times again. Let me
Okay.
screenshot this.
I also like the no feedback. That's amazing. And I ended up on my first page. Hmm. And uh, like wow, look at the thumbnail. Like it's perfect. Like nice HD, colorful and bright. Nice. Okay. All right. I like how I actually show up on my first page. This is like way better. This is better. Okay. Nice and smooth. Okay. So yeah, I can kind of hang out a little bit, have time, and I know I could uh, go live. Well, I am live. I could do a visual, but yeah, I threw up a little thumbnail. I just wanted to kind of drop in, like say hello to everybody. Hope everyone is, having a beautiful spring. 18th, by the way, started on the 18th, so like a few days in. I have my people, clients wise, trying to sort of figure themselves out. Okay, yeah, been busy. I think people here for this, well, they having the spring conversations with me, and I just hope that everything comes together. Finally, I'm like, what do I need to do next? Oh, I'm following closely. Yeah, I'm having fun. Being engaging on Twitter, and so we've got some things. Well, yeah, I've got a lot of. Yeah, I need to start sharing my predictions now that I know how to screen share now. Well, I've always known how, but I've got this. Oh, by the way, this software is OBS. Actually, this is free, so I'm like sitting here for free. Usually, like I do like my paid for subscriptions as well. My favorite is EV Mux, but OBS actually is sharp.
Like the quality is as it's everything that I would get EV Mux. Only the only difference is I don't feel like I paid for it, but it did every single thing, including putting place me on my own page. So I'm gonna try OBS. I'm gonna work with it. It's pretty popular now. I know why people like this, like favor OBS. Now I understand. I'm starting to understand why they do. It's starting to make sense. Mm. Why is OBS the favored? Favored. Now I know why. OBS is just awesome all around. And oh, let's see. Wait a minute. Have I even figured out? Let me hold on. Let me see if it even exists. Yes, it does. We go to browser. I'm not gonna mess with that. Mess with that while I'm live. Video capture device. Okay, window capture. We'll we'll I'll play with that a little more another time. Excellent connection, which is nice. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Excellent connection, excellent feedback. I think the audio is excellent. As far as I could tell, all I need to do is turn up the volume. So, other than that, I mean, I don't, I actually, the software, I cannot find any fault with it. I mean, it's doing everything that I want to do with if I were to pay for a subscription. The only thing, um, I, well, I imagine you could, I guess, buy extra features, additional features. But that's about it. Everything else. They even give like free overlay. Well, through the ATEM multi-stream. Anyway, I'm definitely probably not going to keep this live up. I just wanted to see what this looks like, and I was not anticipating that it would be so nice. I mean, I mean, I have nothing bad to say about OBS. I mean, it's like excellent. 10 out of 10. And I'm not saying that it's because it's allowing me to go live. I mean, like, I even went to my main page and just beautiful. So, like I noticed that if you sometimes, like, if you buy a subscription and you upload a thumbnail, it isn't as brilliant, like when it while streaming, or excuse me, when it's, I guess, being streamed to your destination. So I have to watch the replay. Mm-hmm. Because that matters to me. I love, well, you all know I love quality. Like I'm willing to test all the quality. I've tested all the bells and whistles. um, the closer that I get, gosh, it's just so many things going on at once. Oh yes, maintaining my 5 stars, working with the best of clients still, working with the UK, all of that, all those things. Teaching, I am sharing my insights, including New Pope, by the way, which is, I mean, I'm gonna say the one I like. Pietro Parolin, 70 years of age, Vatican Secretary of State. Huh. I like I like him because I looked at his astrological chart, and his astrological chart is actually amazing, you know. And then also he's a cardinal, a candidate to become the next pope.
but his placements are awesome. And he had actually gone into seminary at at the age of 14. But yeah, they say he is high, like he knows how to maneuver. He's highly sociable. In fact, his social powers, like man has waves. Like he can, you know, bring about waves. Um, he, what it calls social. Okay, social power dynamics. Like, oh yeah, and also supported by the magnificent sign of Aries. So I mean, he just which, by the way, he comes across as a true Aries, as they say. Um, and his okay, so we actually, when the election starts, we still are going to be in Aries. We're in Aries season now, by the way, because Aries season starts at April 18th to May 14th. Because the constellation belts have shifted, so we have to make all those considerations. Um, so he's even contending in his sign, which is dominant. And then what's happening, like with his Jupiter, his Pluto, all the way, all of this, like the church aspects or the home is in the tenth, what they call 10th house. So like very, very organized, likes order. I would imagine oh, by the way, he's a natural friend to what they say, not natural friend to society. Not He's a natural friend to all of the, well, what I mean. I'm wanting to say astrologically a natural friend. So he is, as you say, would be well liked. What's that? I forget where his Jupiter is, but I'm pretty sure Jupiter is in a very strong place. If I'm absolutely certain on that, because and also he has a conjunction between. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it's his Jupiter that's in conjunction with something. But I mean, it's just amazing. Anyways, we'll have to, if my hunches are right and he is selected, we'll have to do his chart. Mm-hmm. Um, Very important icon for I believe us. Like if you're a serious terrorologist, because of course he represents. Of course he's the Pope symbol. The icon is. He's in a few different placements in the higher arcana, but specifically a card dedicated to him is called the Hierophant. So that's some of the interest there. Also, I'm genuinely interested in what his chart foretells. I just glanced at it, so I didn't like do it in depth like I've done in the past. But I am definitely drawn to this particular one. I'm telling you, everybody is like wanting to choose. Everyone is deserving. Like they deserve to have their own picks, but they don't seem to be picking this one. I'm picking this one. I like this one, the one I'm referring to. Again, let me see. His name is Pietro Parolin. I think somebody else mentioned that he seems to be liked. He may not be their favorite, but they had to admit that he is. They can feel his. I said power to be reckoned with. Is what I. He's a power to be reckoned with. Like acknowledge the man, acknowledge him. So yeah, I'll have to. What day would I be able to? I don't know. Well, first of all, um, going live on the OBS is very easy. I mean, it's seamless. It's easier than, you know, having.
to go into like my others, I guess, softwares. I'm not bagging on this one because this one is free and all, but it's just that it's definitely was very simple. I realized that it didn't take me any time at all. Easy setup, and like in just a few clicks. I mean, you can count on one hand the process to getting logged in. I didn't do anything fancy. I didn't write a paragraph in description or anything like that. Didn't come up with a fancy title or anything like that. I just grabbed, a thumbnail that I'm pretty sure I've used before. Maybe on Twitter is what I recognize this one from. It's a ficus. By the way, we are in. Well, this sign is the 13th sign, a new sign that we're trying to universally become familiar with. Some people are interested, some people are not, but everything to do with this new age because its planet is Pluto, of course. If you like stories, you know that this sign it lies in between Scorpio and Sagittarius, and of course Scorpio's planet is Pluto, and this sign's planet is Pluto. And then of course there's a whole story regarding around that planet has gone through so much. Having been told it's not a planet many years before that, told it's only a dwarf planet, if a planet at all, been called an asteroid, and now is a major planet, not a asteroid, not a dwarf planet. Oh yes, and also reinstated planet, and it's also a planet of its own kind, of its special class of planets. First, in fact, the first one to be named among the many that will be added, of course, to the list. Pluto again being the first. Um, of course, then you start to tell that story. You start to, as you say, tell the story of the archetypes. You begin to tell the story of, what our story, our story. So, which is, yeah. So all of that ties into as well. Um, I think that he's a good, well, I believe Pietro. I think I keep getting his last name confused. Parolin. Um, yeah, I do know he's Italian. Anyway, this should be quite interesting. This will prove to be very interesting. So I'm going to sit back, relax just a tidbit, get my cards here shuffled. So where I've been reading all day. Well, late here lately because I wanted to get into the swing of things of this new season. So I've been starting my work at 10 o'clock as opposed to 3 a.m. So 10 a.m. as opposed to 3 a.m. My time, Central Time, and then so there's that, and then there's the I go till like 3 or something, 3 or 4, and then of course I'm on from like 6 till 12 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I get my Mondays off. Well, at least my evenings, and my Thursday evenings off. The rest of the days, I'm learning how to bridge them together. Like, okay, so where I'm supposed to be at today, sort of sort of deal, and seeing how everything is going to flow, and having a great time interacting on the Twitter. It's addictive. I was making jokes to myself. I said I never, in all my wildest imagination, growing up, would think the what's keeping me up at night is Twitter. I was told I would be kept up all night. I just never thought it was going to be Twitter. If I think they would laugh. They've crossed over today, but I think they laugh about this if they understood the whole social media situation. I think they would, yeah, I think they would laugh. We'd have a big laugh. But it turns out that, yes, what keeps me up at night? Twitter. Mainly it was, well, okay, so I started, like predicting things, and then, so like following the thread of that, and then people are wondering, like, why are you following that thread? And then I like, I have like I have like over 100 uh, views, which is, I think 3 views is a lot, but 100, like over 100, well over 100 views. And there's someone watching. It's somebody. I'm speaking about this particular poll, and I was letting them know what I found. With Mars, and in Aries, and being that we are in Aries season and not Taurus, and all of these things. And yes, it was like over 100 views. I was like, wow. So people are, and also people have been liking, and getting some, few subscribers. I have like nearly 60,000 views on a video. I mean, and people like engage that video. Like uh, no, what I'm saying is, it was a video that was based on the black sun. It's a symbol, and they were asking, like, why am I speaking on this symbol? Because it's associated with the old Russia, old world, I guess old world Russia, old Russia, and back in that era, yeah. And so, and they just are having a field day with that one. They're still talking about it, and I've replied. I guess you can reply, I guess, to people's uh, comments in a video form. So I've commented on one, and so I found that interest. Although that's not why I was not talking about anything race related or anything power structural related. It was that I was commenting on the symbol because I love the ruins. The ruins are beautiful. And I'm talking about the some people say I like to say Celtic, the Celtic ruins, and oftentimes, well, the the Celtic ruins, I guess it was where people will say the Celtic ruins also is associated with, and then you get um, the Vikings, so and uh, Germans, so they that's why, so they were intrigued. So, and I believe equally intrigued with my answering, like, okay, well, the reason why referencing the symbol, because the symbol is actually, it goes to the Irish. So, and then because it was the Vikings who landed and went into the British Isles, and then of course they split in between the Brits and also Ireland. That's why you get reed. I'm a reed, Reed. Also, reed is a sacred tree, one of 13 sacred trees. Reed is also found throughout all scriptures. Any holy book, the the Holy Bible, of course. Reed is in there. Reed. Egypt, Reed. That's literally um, a hieroglyph. And then also the Bhagavad Gita and so forth. Read is very sacred all across the board, all across the way. All books, holy books. Also, in the, if you want to say the Celtic, a lunar astrology. So yeah, and that's why, okay, so the British, of course, read is Reid. So it's Reid, that is, would be more like British or Europe. Well, I think it's all Europe, but British particularly, and then the Irish would be Reed. And that's me. Reed. So, Anyway, so I'm always sharing all these types of like information and about like the it's ruins like how the lunar like what's the difference between the lunar and the solar, and so that's why I was talking about this one symbol because it basically it's one ruin on the symbol, and they sort of like it's like a wheel, and it goes around 12 times. And so I was describing, you know, while I was talking about that particular symbol. That was my draw towards the symbol. It wasn't anything else other than that. But other people are having a field day, claiming it as their own, and that's fine. They're enjoying it. They're having a great time, and and it's for educational purposes because they will watch the video to listen to what I'm going to say, and so it works out. They get a few laughs. They get their sense of humor. I'm glad. I'm so happy they have a sense of humor as well, and they also get to learn a little bit, and it gives me reason to post, if any at all. I do like to go live on TikTok, so yeah, I've been also going live on TikTok. Of course, I was like, what do you call it? I was showing my support because people are like, I know they're thinking, about the whole, will TikTok survive and or will it be banned? Um, I'm a supporter, and I want TikTok to thrive because the people on TikTok, what else are they gonna do? They don't really want to go anywhere else. Have to start all over again. I mean, they can and they will if they must, because this has now become a living for them. They found a way. They found their voice and all of that, and they found ways to bring value into people's lives. They're not going to stop because but they've made TikTok their home, and it's like it's becoming a staple, and I'm pretty sure people are beginning to empathize with TikTok, like as they say, heaven forbid TikTok gets banned. They're starting to. I'm pretty sure they've fallen in love and had wonderful experiences there. Um, yep. So, and I know without a shadow of a doubt, TikTok is not the same as YouTube. If it were, I wouldn't always want to go live on YouTube. They're different, and so I think one can appreciate. And but in fact, every I've gone to what's the other one? I went to Bingo, a big Bigo, and I like that one as well. Every one of them. I guess every platform has its own sort of culture. I found every one of them, so you get a different experience, and that's what I'm saying is, if it's like every neighborhood has its own rules. So yeah, so I think that there's room for all of them. There's plenty of room for both. I guess when I say both, I mean YouTube and TikTok. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I guess I'll definitely will keep this. I like it, and I I will have to figure out. I think I want to do one more, like do a video where it's kind of, oh, I found how to do. I guess it's kind of like when I'm in like a little box, and I did this on the TikTok format, and it's where I'm in a little box, and I have like it's like I'm kind of like in front of a blackboard. I use like my screen as a blackboard, and I'm like kind of like share information. I like that sort of format as well. It adds a little extra dimension to my experience while sharing, and plus that's when I'm actually on camera. So I will have to consider that as well. I have to work with that. Oh yeah, yeah. There was plenty, like plenty of time as far as I can imagine in my brain where I could have gone live. Absolutely. I could have been going live. You all, I just wanted to make sure that I was 1000% focused on the work. That's what I was doing. I needed to make sure that everybody was happy and I was not being delusional and I'm here I am going live as I should be focused. Yeah. So that and I'm pretty sure I'm going to uh, you know get in I find a way I guess get into the activities because I also discovered well I don't know writing. Okay, so I was writing. I don't like to do it on TikTok because people start coming in and they start asking me questions when they just at the moment when I become like if I'm typing or something or writing, not a place to do homework. No, not a place to, not quite the place to do my homework. But I think I think I've gotten some work done on YouTube though. I think YouTube would be a great place. Like a place I just come in and turn. Yeah, I do gotta get in the habit. It's coming in and turning on the camera, going live, and just getting to work. And this OBS software makes it that much easier to do exactly that. Hmm. So, yep. So I will play with this a little more and see what we do, see what we have here. We'll play with it, see what how else everything all this comes together. But I did discover um, oh yeah, I discovered my microphone, which sounds great. I like it. Now I see a huge difference. Like, okay, it's where you sound like you're under the water, and so I said, you know, let me invest in that microphone. And then I'm like, wow, you know, this was actually a good and great investment. I wish I would have done this because you know I have a few videos that are monetized, and or that that were monetized or something like that. They were receiving well every time that I play them, and it would you know I guess like a little commercial or ad would always plays on one of them. So I said I was thinking of man I need a I guess like a microphone or get headsets and I just wonder like how much of a difference that would have impacted. I mean, those now I think the videos did well. I think they do excellent, especially like what they call it when you do timeless videos. Like I'll post a video and then it'll get like 10,000, 11,000 views over time. So I want to get in the habit of you know, like I want to continue, I want to stay in the habit of doing those types of like long form videos. So that's pretty much what we're doing, and um, definitely going to share my pick, which yeah I'm definitely going to do that. I'm thinking that it's definitely tomorrow, but perhaps in the morning somewhere. I don't know if it's wise for me to do it while I'm live because I kind of need to stay focused when it comes to like, yeah, my clients, they need like this week they need my undivided attention. So I'll probably kind of stay stuck in that zone. So I probably will want to do this. Well, if I do this early, maybe come in early in the morning, or maybe I can do it later on this evening, actually, like before midnight. If I do it that way, because I already know exactly what I need to do. I mean, I'm not going to do a huge, like a deep dive, not just yet. I just want to like talk about them and like very like briefly describe like what I'm talking about. In fact, I already found a blog about them that I'm interested in that I wanted to. You know how I like to do those reaction blogs. So yeah, I mean, I probably am going to want to do that 1,000%. If I am to do that, I probably want to come back in like within the hour or so and build from there. Hmm. So yep, and then I've got like the 5 stars. You know, it's a phenomenon with me. Like my stars are solid. Like five. I don't. They. You know, I was told, look. You know, you don't have to have the 5 stars. You know, like you just. You know, like because you know you can have like 4 point something, but I have. I'm so thankful that I have solid stars 5. People tell me my readings are beautiful. You know, beautiful readings still. I read beautifully still. You know, amazing. So I'm quite pleased with that. Of course, writing. Yeah, that's the sort of like the new thing I guess for 2025 for is that I'm doing is I write. It's like a paragraph. It's like 100 and I think 150 words or 900 characters, something like that. 900 characters is about 150 words. Like it's about a paragraph, and I've been writing that individually for clients, and they respond back. You know, they like it. I just want to improve in that area. Hopefully, I can get to the point where I am doing sort of like a newsletter. So I am writing, and I am pretty consistent with that. I just need to do what do you call it? Yeah, I just need to maybe well, I don't want to flood anybody with a lot of there's like spiritual information that people just don't understand or not ready for. This is not their system. But I definitely want to like do like little fun things that are like maybe like explaining how I meditate in like in a few paragraphs, and have it in a like a newsletter format, which I have the ability to do. So I'm working up to that. So far, I've just been writing one paragraph, and it's just simply like you know, like which is in, which is very intimidating because it's kind of like continuing a conversation, and the way that I speak is as a matter of factly. So it's like the same way I speak whenever I'm delivering a reading. It's like we've been talking forever. It's like, oh yeah, you've been reading each other's messages, written messages, like for forever. Like, and they reach out and they contact me, and they're as if like just like a continuance of a dialogue. So I just love that I this year I've whether I've earned it or it's always innately been there in me to have that ability to do so. But I am psychic, and I'm learning not to like. I'm not taking that for granted at all. But it's just a beautiful thing that I'm able to do that. It's like, wow, you know, these I was I think about these things growing up. Of course, I wasn't thinking about sending things, electronically. I was like, well, maybe, like written, like learn how to write, because maybe I'll write my predictions down and hand it to someone. But I've provided, I guess, the channels of services, in many different ways, from video chat all the way to text, all the way to, well, of course, voice in person. So, anyways, I'm gonna continue, like figuring out like how everything is gonna flow, just smoothly. My little workspace here. I have a feeling I'm going to, they call it like, move my little stage around, maybe one more good time. I feel like my stage, I guess, sort of is coming full circle. But I'll figure that out as we go. Oh, and okay, so the other things that I talked about was the success of Elon. Uh, he, whenever I did the astrological chart for President Trump, we knew that President Trump was bringing Elon Musk along, and of course I read, and everything he's gonna do, and he's stuck to it. Everything exactly to the T. And so I definitely acknowledge that on Twitter. What else that I acknowledge? I'm still following very closely everything that's going on, in the world. In fact, there are things I haven't even shared, like Egypt, Syria. Yep, there's some people I want to do readings on. I'm so proud of the Palestinians, Palestine president, for example, who condemns Hamas along with Israel, which I said that's the real uh, promised land group. That's the real Israel right there. Palestine and Israel standing together. And I was saying to this, I'm already starting to chant that Palestine doesn't have to defend anything. Palestine does not have to fight. The people of Palestine, they are native. I mean, through DNA, which of course I've done. I have. I was provided with, of course, the archaeologists did the work, and so yes. Oh, so I mean, so DNA. So when I say literally, yes, Palestine people, they like, just like the Israel people, they can trace their lineage, like as far back as beyond the beginnings of, like the humble beginnings of documenting, through holy scriptures, cemented in ruins. They're finding coins, and Roman coins, and coins that are, that are like shekel. But also, the same goes for the people of Palestine. They also go all the way back to where they are, like, resident, to Canaan, like, well, old world Canaan, which would be over all of Israel. And of course, we people don't understand the significance of that region, because the book says that as far as you can see, to the edge of where the ocean begins, to the foot of the peaks of the hills and the mountain, is anywhere that you can stand, that is yours. So, I mean, that is all of the land, the Holy Land. That's what I meant. And so it isn't just Israel, like the little bitty dot on the, they call it like this from the space view map, and it has Jerusalem written on it, and oh, that's the no, it's the whole entire region, all the way to the oceans. I just don't think people like can consume the gravity of the entire spectrum. And so anyway, with then there's Hamas trying to divide, because I think they're just a hateful group. I think we uh, each group of people have their hateful group, and Palestine's hateful group has a name, and it is Hamas. And what they're doing is like they try to divide Israel because they want it to be unrecognizable, and at the expense of, they don't care who gets hurt. And meaning, what I'm saying is, what their actions is, they don't care that Hamas doesn't care if the Palestine people are, they're like, it's like they're collateral. And instead of, you know um, saving and preserving the Palestine people, they are trying to so much rip up any signature, any that is the Old Testament, any signature that would represent, they want to make it where it's unrecognizable. The the concept of Israel in itself, the but which that is that should be despicable in all holy texts. So that would be against the Quran. It would be against, of course, the Old Testament, the New Testament. It's just wrong. Also, as people, yes, they're just there to be. They're there to be divisive, which is so. I love when the Palestinian president said, they actually said that they want, Hamas to, like, what do you call it? What word did I use? I used, expelled, and they want them to give up the hostages, give Israel and, everybody, give back hostages. And but Hamas are is not about the hostages. It's not about that. They want to divide. So anyway, so I was acknowledging that, and I was also giving, newfound praises for that, because that. Oh, by the way, I'm so, for example, I know about Egypt. Again, about Egypt is beautiful. Egypt. I said, well, I answered the unknowable question that the archaeologists, they didn't understand, because they were reading, they in their book, they were, I'm assuming that they just, they approached it as not knowing anything. But what they do know is, what they thought was that there was a war in Canaan, and there was not. For example, and that what they found, just as, what is described in the scriptures, as from Hebrew to English, is that actually they lived, quite harmoniously. They, were of hunters and gatherers and farmers, and they cohabitated with everybody. In the end, it was a city. A city, as far as they can tell, there it was no big battle, or of no sign of big battle. Of course, they said that the DNA isn't showing it, and not, not all the time does the DNA reveal that anything horrific, because they could have actually hated each other. But DNA, having long since gone by now, wouldn't reflect that. So, but as far as they can see, when they look around in evidence with their eyes and with all their findings, no, and the Bible doesn't say that, but everyone believes that that is what happened. They use the word decimate. There was no decimation, even in the language as it's written. Actually, Israel, along with people, Egyptians who exited along with Israel, walked into Canaan very peacefully, with the elderly men in front. Because the younger men, ages like, like 30s, and then like men who are 50 and above. Okay, so the young men who were, of strength, so the soldier, actually helped the elderly men into the city, and they were instructed. Okay, so when biblically, if Yahweh, the war god, sends in his soldiers to war or fight, that's exactly what they did. They went in and fought, and that would have been explicitly written. Go in there and go to war, go to battle. But that's not what he wrote. He wrote, use your. He basically says, walk in there, approach and bring in your elders first and go with intelligence. He didn't say go in there with hostility. He says go in with intelligence. And the word intelligence is actually used and is utilized. That's exactly what they did. So, and then of course, the chapter before they enter into Canaan is like, how do you know the presence of? Well, there's the presence of, besides the chapter that I'm talking about, chapter 25, representing that there were three groups there: the Canaan people who were already there, Israel entering in, also nations, and then there's comparison of all three, and then the chapter 24 before that, it references, well, God shares a profound thought about Egyptians and Israel marrying, intermarriages between the two, and including the interracial marriages, but also the what they call what it biracial children that would come from out of these such unions. That actually, um, of course, Yahweh being no joke, for instance, he he told Moses that he was that to take, because there was a man who was belittling the child who was had an Egyptian dad and had a Israel woman, oh, mom, and he instructed the church, specifically the congregation, he says, to pelt this man who had, I guess, sort of badgered and maybe roughed up, and tried to belittle this the son of this married couple, and that's exactly what they did. Because Moses handed it down, and then everybody, the congregation, did exactly that, which that illustrates what God thought of Egyptians, what God, and of course, there's many times where Egyptians actually talked to God directly, and even um, called him by his actual name, his Yahweh name, his God name. Um, to think of would be Hagar. So Abraham's, well, besides Sinai, but Hagar's, she was a princess, Egyptian princess, and well, it's a whole story. Regardless, well, all I'm saying is that Egypt has also, well, when you get into the books of that are the books about, what do you call what gosh, come on, think, it's called the Apocrypha books. Egypt actually was reconciled, found reconciliation with God, and also Egypt wasn't always described as the people who's chasing after people, um, because the way that the Pharaoh dealt with Abraham that's an astonishing, amazing story, and of course you see that's that very same character even today, as of course they said, look, we don't want the Palestinians to have to come, to Exodus here. Yes, they're from here, which that was the unanswered uh, question was, well, where was these Canaanite people from? But specifically, they had traced the bloodline to Palestinians, which is like 98%, like up in the 90 percentile, being from from that region, native to that region. In fact, well, they came from the outside. They came because when you start to put it all together, like, why would anyone disassociate from their heritage? And of course, they didn't need to. They like Israel people would not abandon something that would, like, no one is going to abandon their birthright, right? And it's because Palestinian people, of course, and also they are, they say, you connect with who you are as a people, your culture, which is Arab, which is Egypt. Okay, and then it starts to make sense. That's and it, of course now I also stated, well, think about it like this: how you know which family group you're in when trouble happens. The family that comes to the cousins who come to your aid, that's your family, and that's a Egypt came. Egypt turned up for Palestinian. In fact, they said, well, we won't bring them back home, but rather um, by the way, why Egypt is because Egypt is also an Arab nation. By the way, uh, Palestinians' religion is not Jewish, right? Or Israel, as it would be in maybe biblically, how because they are Semitic, um, but more so that they also are Arab nation. So they're Arab, as being like also not again 98%, I believe, Arab as well. Also 98% in blood connected to being Semitic. Well, Arab is Semitic, by the way, but specifically, like is in the land of Canaan. Their connection to the bloodline of that land, tying them to that land, how they got there, Egypt's stake in this, and invested in them. Like they're not just people who just showed up and decided, oh yeah, we'll be Arab. No, they said Egypt has said we will we'll mediate between everybody, and work to force. Of course, they're gonna work for a ceasefire because they want them to begin to rebuild. Meaning, all Arab nations, in fact, want uh, Palestinian people to stay and to build up Gaza. This time they'll build it differently. I'm sure they're going to build it much different. Build it better. It's going to be promising. The right people are going to be in charge. The right people who are meant to thrive will thrive there, and not the H word. I'm starting beginning not even want to say Hamas. I just don't even like their name. I don't even like their name. Palestinian people are beautiful people. They are inherently supposed to be there. They represent literally, and they also challenge what people think of Leviticus chapter 25, because that's the very same chapter that people say, again with what they call it, um, decimation of a people, enslaving of a people. And in fact, chapter 25 is nothing about either of those two things. It's about more serious things like living and being unified as a people. Oh, by the way, Moses also blessed the well the same blessing, because first of all there was a blessing to incorporate um, all the nations, you know, or Egyptian Palestinian people, today's Palestinian people, into um, the 12 tribes, into the tribes that were going to enter into Canaan together. So they were blessed, as you would say, and had gone in, and yeah, they went in quite peacefully, and also with the book says they were commanded to go in there with intelligence. So yeah, and also to escort their elderly first, like the elderly men in the front. So there was no need to feel like hostility, like it wasn't a hostile takeover, but rather they were given a ton of commandments that were like from God, and God even sanctioning was like, and if this doesn't happen, a sanction follows. This ensues. So it was, you have to do this, and if not, you'll have to deal with me. So it's very explicit, like the way that everybody, not just Israel, and also young men Israel, were to behave,
because the young man incident in chapter 24, looking down on um, the the son of an Egyptian husband and an Israel Israeli wife. Um, so anyway, all of that, all of that. So anyway, all of this. So then you start to see the delicate fabrics, aligning. You see how all things began to tie, and that's really when everything makes sense. You know, it's a struggle because, like in any group, any religion, there's going to be a fight for dominance. There's always going to be a fight for whether to divide or to keep from dividing. You're gonna have that in any group. You know, this one more so, maybe more is more into what do you call it? More into the public eye and up for scrutiny. But the more that we begin to understand this, it's like we know where to focus. I guess yes, best focus our energies. So there's a lot to this. Gosh, this goes so deep into the rabbit hole. Oh, I've overstayed. I'm only supposed to stay here for an hour. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna hopefully I have the energy to come back. I really want to talk about the new, well, well, it's not the new pope, but just a particular pope candidate. I believe he's a what is he? He's a cardinal. I want to talk about Pietro Parolin. I want to read this blog. I'm going to figure out how to get this one onto my stream so that we can read it together. I'm going to close this one out and I will be back. Let me see.